Hey, it's Ethan here at eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Flint Hill Goods 54 by 18 inch Hitch Cargo Carrier and how it fits on our 2022 Toyota RAV4. If you're transporting some larger items or maybe some heavy items that might have some mud, sand, water, things like that that you don't want to keep in the cab or the trunk of your vehicle, a hitch carrier like this might be a good option for you. This carrier is rated to hold a weight capacity of up to 500 pounds. It only weighs 25 pounds. So to get all that weight capacity out of there is nice. The construction is steel with a black powder coat finish, so it should hold up pretty well to weather and corrosion. On the front here you can see that there are 2 reflectors, and there are a handful of places around the carrier for you to put straps and tie downs to keep your gear secure. With the carrier in the hitch, you can see that if we want to get into the back of our vehicle, we still can. We have full clearance to open it up, but you might want to be considerate of how much space you're going to have before it makes contact with the items that you're going to be storing. So in our case, from the bottom of the carrier to where it's first going to make contact, probably right around here, coming in at about 17.5 inches, and then that's how high you're going to be able to store things before it makes contact with the trunk. On the subject of measurements, if you're curious to know how much space you're going to have inside your carrier, from one end to the other, it's 51 3/4 inches. They measure from the center, in their case, to find 17.25 inches, but if you move it down a little bit to get off this rail here, you get closer to 17.5. As far as depth, the number that we're getting is about 4 1/8 inches, so that's how much space you're going to have on the rails while they're actually making contact with the items that you're storing. To know how much space we're adding onto the back of our vehicle, this is a compact cargo carrier, so from the bumper to the furthest point back, it's only 21 inches, so less than 2 feet that you're adding total. It does sit a little bit close, but it's kind of underneath, so the closest point is realistically going to be about 3 inches before it makes contact, so plenty of room back there, nothing that I would be concerned about. As far as ground clearance goes, it does stick out straight from the shank, so wherever your shank is wherever ground clearance is going to go. In our case, it's about 10.25 inches from the ground up, so it is kind of low, keeping that in mind for when you go up hills, over curbs, anything like that. I don't think it's going to make contact, but something to consider. In our case, the carrier does sit pretty much straight across from the exhaust. It's pointed a little bit downward, but I would still be concerned about any heat-sensitive items and storing them on the sides. Both sides have the same exact exhaust, so if you keep canvas bags or anything that you might be worried about making heat contact with, this is something to be mindful of. The carrier does use a 2-inch shank that fits into our 2-inch receiver tube. It's held in place by this anti-rattle bolt and the pin at the end. It's nice that this is hand threaded, but there is a little bit of difficulty getting a wrench to the backside of the nut because it does sit pretty close to the car, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Overall, this compact cargo carrier from Flint Hill Goods might again be a good option for you. If you want to get some things out of your vehicle that might be a little bit messy or a little bit bulky, hard to get to, anything that you would need, this is going to do it for you. I like the fact that this one does have that black powder coat finish and that steel construction. It's still pretty lightweight, but I think it looks a lot nicer than some of the other aluminum options by Flint Hill Goods. That being said, there are different size options that Flint Hill Goods cargo carriers do offer, so if you want something a little bit bigger, that might be for you. This is just a look at how the 54 by 18 inch steel hitch cargo carrier fits on the back of our 2022 Toyota RAV4.